Hello. At the beginning of the pandemic, we had people fighting in the supermarkets to get toilet paper because they thought it was going to run out. Panic buying. After a week, it had sorted itself out and we muddled through it. During the pandemic, we had quite a long run up to the lockdown. We knew what was happening and everything went fairly smoothly. Again, we muddled through it. Here we are. We got out the other end. Last September, somebody went on the radio and said that there was going to be a fuel shortage, okay, because BP were closing a couple of garages. That led to people panic buying, and before you knew it, there was no fuel, so there was an actual fuel shortage. But about a week later, we'd muddled through it and everything was okay. Well, pretty much all these things have happened at different times. So what are we going to do when all these things happen at once? So that's what this channel is all about. My name is Dave and welcome to Be Better Prepared for When the Lights Go Out. Now this is my first video, okay, on this channel, and obviously I want this channel to continue for quite a long time. This is my first video, so just might have to bear with me a little bit. But I'm not talking about nuclear war, I'm not talking about SHTF or zombies or anything like that. What I'm talking about is a series of events that might come together, and each one on their own isn't particularly fantastic, but you put a few events together, then you could end up with things just getting out of hand, and then suddenly you've got maybe a 2-week period, 3 weeks perhaps tops, when things are really bad. Eventually the government will work it out and get back on top of things and things will return to normal. But that 2 weeks, 3 weeks could be really difficult time, and it could be on us like that. Very similar to how the fuel shortage was, it took less than 12 hours from the warnings on the telly, right, which weren't actually founded on any facts really, to having no fuel. It can be as quick as that. Okay, so something in the background will have upset the world economy, all right, and then the other things will bolt on top of that and just make things worse, okay, so we get to the point where there's like some kind of a meltdown. Right now, the thing that's disrupting the world economy is the Ukraine. I think we can all pretty much agree that. It's certainly definitely one of the things. So let's talk about that briefly. Russia, which they're looking at a border of 2,000 miles between Russia and the West. Okay, that's a lot. But if you take the Ukraine, then that's going to reduce that border by 500 miles and gives a buffer state. Okay, that's a result for Russia. However, the real reason, I believe, that Russia invaded Ukraine is to get their hands on the grain. 10% of the world's grain comes from the Ukraine. 10%. So if you've got that, when the world food shortages kick in and the water problems that are going to come, then you're already in a strong position. Okay. Just as an aside there, okay, let's not include oil prices in that. Okay, Russia is open for business. They want to sell their oil. They want to sell their gas. The reason why the oil prices have gone up and therefore the petrol prices at the pump is our government's decisions to put sanctions on Russia, okay, and not by the Russia. That's why, okay. It's as simple as that, okay. So when you're paying £2 a litre at the pump, okay, that's our government's fault, okay. Now, during this 2 weeks, 3 weeks of major problem that I've been talking about, you might have to do some things. You might have to source your own water because you can't rely on what comes out of that tap. You might have to purify your own water. You might have to cook your food, and of course, your electric cooker isn't going to work because there's going to be no power. There's going to be no fuel getting to the power stations. Maybe some, but not all the time. You're going to have to think about disease, okay, generating your own electricity perhaps even, okay, being stealthy, because if other people find out you've got food after a week, people are starving, they're going to smash your front door down, okay. So these are the sort of things that we're going to be talking about during the life of this channel, okay. Anyway, so I'll round it up there. That was an introduction to what I'm all about. So Dave at Be Better Prepared for When the Lights Go Out. Thank you.